We've obtained every gym badge available. We faced down every gym leader, the entire Pokémon League, and the champion of the Johto region. Twice. Captured every legendary available. Shown off all the events and other miscellaneous crap that was worthwhile to show off. And all that's left for us now is the game's final challenge here at Mount Silver. Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant, and welcome to the finale of Let's Play Pokémon SoulSilver. Now before we ascend Mount Silver, there is an item over here I want to pick up just outside of the Pokémon Center at the base of Mount Silver. Just surf across the water here, you'll find yourself a Reaper Cloth. And I believe this is the item that you need to evolve Dusclops from the 3rd generation into its 4th generation evolution, Dusknoir, which is kinda neat. But over here is Mount Silver. And we've actually been here before to capture Moltres. Hi, Quagsire, how you doing? And it was actually above this waterfall and back to the left where we caught Moltres. And the reason why I'm going up here is to pick up another item that's going to be very helpful in terms of the final battle, at least one that I like to pick up for Crunch. So I'll probably put it on him before I forget. The Expert Belt. Now the Expert Belt is another kind of hold item that slightly boosts the power of moves as long as they're super effective. Which is really helpful in terms of Crunch because he's got a water move, he's got an ice move, and he's got another move that I'll show off before we get to the final battle. I've done a little bit of rearranging in terms of everybody's movesets. For one, you can see that I'm now using Duster to do the surfing. And the reason I did that was because I had to have somebody on my team learn Rock Climb. And I forget if anybody else was able to learn it. I'm pretty sure Crunch was the only one, which is why I'm going to be using Rock Climb with him. I forget if there's an item in here or not. There is a dire hit, not that helpful. But I'm using Crunch to Rock Climb, so I had to give Surf to somebody else if I wanted to get the Expert Belt and the Reaper Cloth, which is why I gave it to Duster. And why a lot of people like using Sentret and Furret as HM slaves in the 2nd generation. And over here you can find TM76 Stealth Rock entry hazards. Really, really helpful to have, and a lot of competitive battlers would go so far as to say that it's the best move in the game. I don't know if I've gone over Stealth Rocks before. I know I've at least mentioned them. But I've done a couple of adjustments to everybody's movesets. And more importantly, everybody is now up to level 65. Now this was done using all 18 of our rare candies, and I never realized just how many rare candies we picked up in this LP. So those 18 rare candies bought us on average 3 level ups for everybody. And what rare candies do is raise your level, or specifically give you just enough experience to raise your level by 1. So in order to get the most out of a rare candy, you want to have just hit your previous level. And since not everybody had next to no experience for their next level, like for instance some of them were maybe 1,000 experience away from a level, I gave everybody another level just so we could get the most use out of the rare candies. So now everybody is up to level 65. It's really nice and convenient it worked out that way. But you may also notice that I don't have the GB sounds on for this episode. And the reason for it is because I think the Heart Gold Soul Silver remix for this area is just much more fitting. It's the same music we first heard in the Olivine Lighthouse. And if you remember, I commented on how it didn't really seem fitting of the lighthouse because it wasn't really creepy or daunting. Mount Silver, on the other hand, I think it suits magnificently. It just, between the music here and just how well they... Hi, secret item that's just hidden right to the left of the exit. But with how they've pretty much overhauled the entire dungeon here. I mean, you didn't have this outside area which is covered in snow, which really adds to the atmosphere. And I forget if there's anything to the left. I don't think there is. Is there over here anything? No, there is not. But they completely redid this section, just like they did the inside of Mount Mortar. Although I think I mean, Mount Mortar is about the same as it was before. Mount Silver here was completely redone, and I love it. They just made the ascent here so... It really adds to the atmosphere in terms of going up to face down the biggest challenge in any Pokemon game to date. Especially with all of the rock climbing here. I mean, maybe Waterfall gives you that sense of exploration, and now that you have Pokemon, you can do things that you would never be able to do on your own. And Pure Incense, I forget who you produced the baby form of as well. Not very familiar with the incenses. But between the visual effects, the overhauled dungeon redesign, and the remix, it just adds so much to the atmosphere in terms of making your way to the final fight. I just can't get enough of it. And it would normally be at this point in a Let's Play, especially one that's gone on for as long as this one has, that I'd really start to miss it, that it would hit me just how close we are to the end, and even though I think I hit that point maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, you would really expect it to hit hard now, and I'm not sure if it's just because of how excited I am to finally challenge the last boss here, or the fact that I haven't recorded the last episode yet. So I know that there's still at least something left after this for me to do, even though this is the last thing you're going to say. There's just something about Mount Silver here in Heart Gold and Soul Silver I think they did really well to build up precisely what it is we're going for. And I forgot there was an item over there. I'm going to go get you, item! The only thing standing between me and a flawless exploration of Soul Silver, I mean, Mount Silver, not including Rock Smash, because who could be bothered to have Rock Smash on anybody they're going to challenge the final boss with? I don't think I'm going to be missing any of the important items. Dawn Stone, I'm not sure if we picked one up before. It's another Evolution Stone from the 4th or 3rd, I think it's from the 4th generation. And it wouldn't be a video done by me if I didn't lose track of what I was saying before at some point. Kind of fitting that we have that in the last episode, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is. I can't change who I am and the fact that I have brain farts every 8 minutes or so. Be really nice if I could, but I can't. And of course, before we get to the final battle, one last rock climb. If that doesn't tell you what you're in for out here, I don't know what will. And one last max revive before we go. And out here, at the very summit of Mount Silver, is where our final challenge awaits. And once again, I'll go over everybody's movesets and hold items. You can see everyone's up to level 65. I gave HCB the Choice Scarf because he's going to be very helpful in terms of outspeeding things. We're going to have a severe disadvantage in terms of levels, which is why giving someone as powerful as HCB the Choice Scarf to outspeed those things is going to be extremely helpful. I also got rid of Brick Break for Rock Slide for one particular Pokemon that I'm hoping I don't have to bring HCB out to face, but just in case, he's got Rock Slide. Crunch I gave the Expert Belt to, which powers up super effective moves. At level 63, he was prompted to learn Super Power, which is a powerful fighting type move that lowers your attack and defense after use. So I hope I don't have to use it, but it's going to be more helpful in this fight than Crunch would have been. I also gave him Blizzard, which is a powerful ice type move that misses 30% of the time, unless you're in Hail, which is what this fight is going to be unless I decide to use Sunny Day at some point, which I'm not really sure I want to. Duster, I've also replaced his Ice Beam with Blizzard for the same reason. Lupus is exactly the same. Krako is exactly the same, he's got the Magnet to boost the strength of his Thunderbolt. And Klaus is the same as he was in the last fight with the Choice Specs. All that said, out here is the most powerful trainer in any of the main Pokemon games to date. At the age of 10, he defeated the entire organization of Team Rocket on his own. None other than the protagonist from Red, Blue, and Yellow, the very first generation of Pokemon games. Red. He's going to open up the fight with his most powerful Pokemon at level 88, Pikachu. Knows Volt Tackle, Iron Tail, Quick Attack, and Thunderbolt, and the thing that makes him the most threatening is that he's holding the Light Ball, which doubles his attack and special attack. So if you don't have a way to outspeed this thing, he will hit you for a lot of damage. Luckily, since HCB has the Choice Scarf, not only is he able to outspeed the Pikachu, but he should be able to knock it out in one shot with Earthquake. That isn't to say that Pikachu is the biggest threat on his team, but considering he's at level 88, most likely going to outspeed anything on your team unless you have a strategy around it, he's pretty menacing for the first Pokemon that you face in this fight. And since we are outside in a snowstorm, we are going to be buffeted by hail at the end of each turn. But this is something I think is going to hurt him more than it's going to hurt me. Now, I'd like to use Rock Slide on this Charizard, but since he does have the Choice Scarf, HCB isn't going to be able to use it unless we switch out. So I'd like to see whether or not we could get any use out of Crunch here. Charizard, level 84, knows Flare Blitz, Air Slash, Blast Burn, and Dragon Pulse. All of three of the starter Pokemon from the first generation games that Red has have their elemental Hyper Beams. Charizard is going to have Blast Burn, Blastoise is going to have Hydro Cannon, and Venusaur is going to have Frenzy Plant. And that flinch certainly didn't help. So at this point, I could switch into Magnezone to take the Air Slash, but he's just going to use a Fire-type move on me if I did it anyway. I don't know if Dragon Pulse is going to be enough. Who am I kidding? Of course it's going to kill. So, let's see if we can bring in HCB. I know that Rock Slide has a 10% chance to miss. I'm hoping it doesn't, because it's going to be really helpful to hold on to HCB for later. Of course you would miss at the very crucial point when I need it to hit! You would miss. Remember when I said HCB was going to be extremely helpful in this fight? This was going to go a lot more easily if I had HCB, and since I don't, I honestly don't know what I'm going to do from here. I guess we'll see if Duster can get any use. Since we aren't going to outspeed this thing, I'm hopeful we'll be able to take a Flare Blitz, and maybe we'll be able to knock it out with a return after it hits itself with Recoil. Between this and the hail, maybe we can. The critical hit! Duster, you never cease to amaze me. Please be at less than 16. Yes! We got the knockout on the Charizard with the critical hit! This is why the hail is so much more helpful for you if you're under-leveled, because they're going to be losing much more HP than you are. Now he's going to bring in his Blastoise, Hydro Cannon, Blizzard, Flash Cannon, and Focus Blast. I'm afraid to bring in Krako on this thing because it has Focus Blast. which is why I'm tempted to go with Klaus, who should be able to outspeed it. But the thing is, somebody is going to have to deal with it either way. I guess we'll go with Klaus and just work on a strategy from there. It'd be really nice to bring in Krako so I could preserve Klaus for something like the Venusaur in case Lupus can't go for it, but he's got Blizzard on this thing. And although it doesn't get Stab, it is 100% accurate in the Hail, which is why he's going to be using it here. And since this is most likely not going to Oko, I think I'm going to need to take this turn to heal somebody up, otherwise it's just going to be a waste. Because even if I healed Klaus here, he's just going to hit me with 2 Blizzards and knock me out anyway. So I think this is as good a time as any for me to revive HCB. As much as I'd like to get through this fight without using any items, we are 20 levels under the most powerful trainer in any of the main Pokemon games. So I don't think there's anything wrong with using a single revive. Maybe that's just me, though. I'm not sure if I want to bring HCB in quite yet, though, because I would very much like to preserve him if at all possible, because I am going to need him for later. But I don't really have any other options here. I think Blastoise is still going to outspeed Duster. And if I bring in HCB, I'm afraid of using a close combat too soon, because he may bring in something that... You know what? There's no reason not to bring in HCB. If we go for a close combat here, it should be enough to take out the Blastoise, however defensive it is. We do get stabbed for it, and HCB is fairly powerful. I'm actually surprised that did as little as it did. Well, that was a mistake on my part. Although I'm not entirely sure what else I could have done there. So he's definitely going to heal the Blastoise. I don't think it's at a low enough amount of health where the Hail will kill it this turn. I think it'll just barely survive. So we have to decide what we want to do from here. I'm wondering if setting up the Sun and going for a Solar Beam would be... You know what? We have an excuse to try it. He's going to heal it anyway. It would reduce the strength of his Water-type move, which would be super effective against us. And it'll also get rid of the advantage he has in terms of having 3 of his 4 remaining Pokemon with Blizzard, and that it'll no longer hit 100% of the time. So the Sun should get rid of the Hail at the very least. I'm not sure if we'll be... Oh, who am I kidding? I'm pretty sure if he hits Flash... Not Flash Cannon. If he hits Focus Blast, we're definitely not going to survive. But still, having gotten rid of the Hail should help tremendously. The issue is whether or not we'll be able to take advantage of it, because we have no one left to take advantage of the Sun. We've only essentially gotten rid of the Hail. So what do we do from here? If I bring in Krako or Duster, they're just going to die to a Focus Blast. So I need to take this time to revive somebody again and figure out where to go from here. HCB is definitely not going to be enough, and those two don't have anything super effective against the Blastoise either. I think I'll just keep going with Lupus until he misses a Focus Blast. Or he just goes for the... I'm pretty sure Blizzard in the Sun has only 50% accuracy, or I may be thinking of another move, but I'm very surprised that that hit. So is he going to go for the Shore Kill with Hydro Cannon, or is he going to risk Focus Blast again? He risked Focus Blast again, and it missed. So finally, we get a Sunny Day Solar Beam off with Lupus for the first time in the entire LP. There it is, and I'm willing to bet that's not even going to do half. Is anybody surprised at this point? Because I'm sure not. So now what? We don't really have anything to deal with this Blastoise besides Krako, and we'd have to bank on the fact that he's going to miss with Focus Blast at some point, so I figure I'll go for it again, and it worked again! The thing is, he's going to survive, and he may very well heal it again. So what do we do from here? Do we take the chance that he doesn't heal it and misses Focus Blast again? Do we revive somebody else who can surely outspeed it? I'm not sure what we should be doing here. I don't think he's going to heal again. So I'll take the time to heal up HCB and bank on the fact that he hits the Focus Blast. After which point I know I'll be able to outspeed him with HCB. So from here, he no longer has 100% accuracy Blizzard up his sleeve, which 2 of the 3 Pokemon after this will still have. And since we're locked into close combat now, 2 of the 3 Pokemon he has left are weak to it. So I'm guessing he's going to bring in the one that is not. Which is not Lapras. So, you know what? I think this is the only chance that Krako's going to have to shine. I might as well just bring him in here. Lapras, which was replaced for Espeon in the original Gold, Silver, Crystal roster, knows Blizzard, Brine, Psychic, and Body Slam. None of which can really touch Krako for any significant damage. The only one would be Brine, but I think Brine would be at least a 3-hit KO on us. And Lapras is the reason why I have Krako holding the Magnet. Without the Magnet, Thunderbolt would only have a small chance of being a 2-hit KO on the Lapras. With the Magnet boosting the strength of Thunderbolt, it should be enough to cleanly 2-hit KO. Watch it live with the smallest amount of health you've ever seen. Okay, it's dead. But it's really unfortunate that he replaced his Espeon for Lapras just to get the Ice-type to take advantage of the Snowstorm. But next up is his Snorlax, and this thing, anybody who's played the original Gen 2 games has nightmares about. No Shadow Ball, Crunch, Blizzard, and Giga Impact, the physical Hyper Beam. Now you would think, with the strength of HCB, the fact that we get Stab on close combat and how powerful it is, that it would clearly 1-hit KO the Snorlax, despite how much HP it has. But no, I'm not even sure if that did 75%. And again, despite the fact that Hail is no longer in effect, you have yet to miss a Blizzard! How nice! Thanks for that. So now all we have left is Krako, who I believe should outspeed the Snorlax. The question is, will he be able to take on the final member of Red's roster? Krako against Venusaur, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Sleep Powder, and Frenzy Plant. I think I'll just go for the Thunder Wave if he doesn't put me to sleep, which he's going to do. So you know what? This will give me a great opportunity to show off those flutes that I realized I had never actually used before, and it is not in the battle items. Is it in status healers? Blue Flute! Blue Flute! Wakes a Pokemon from sleep! You didn't think I'd ever actually use those in the LP, did you? But let's see how well you can take a Giga Drain. It is 20 levels above us, but we do resist it. So I guess we're going to have to wait until he misses a Sleep Powder and try to paralyze it. I don't think Giga Drain is going to be enough to knock us out from here, so I think I'm just going to spam Flash Cannon. If we can get a couple of special defense drops with it, I think that's the added effect from Flash Cannon. It would be really helpful. But the paralysis would be helpful too. The only issue is, one, we don't have very many Flash Cannons. And two, he's most likely going to full restore it when it gets to a low enough amount of health. So we could expedite the process and actually revive somebody that could cleanly knock it out, which I think I'm going to do, just to make this go a little bit more quickly. And I think Lupus would be the best to do that. The question is, can we get him in cleanly? And now that he's used Frenzy Plant, we can. Very powerful Grass-type move, but forces the user to recharge on the next turn. Actually smart of him to do that, because there was no way we would have been able to hit him, so had I not used a revive on the last turn, there's pretty much no way we would have been able to win. But Lupus should be able to cleanly knock this thing out with a flamethrower. And even if he can't, since Venusaur is paralyzed, we'll be able to go first anyway. The only issue is if it lives with a small enough amount of health that he's going to full restore it. Hopefully he doesn't. Now I'm not sure if we outspeed the Venusaur. I don't know if a Giga Drain or a Sludge Bomb, or a Frenzy Plant for that matter, would be able to knock us out. I'm pretty sure Frenzy Plant would be able to knock us out. So it all comes down to this. Does Lupus outspeed Venusaur? I don't know if that was worth the risk. But either way, I think we're in the clear. The strongest Pokemon trainer in the history of the main series. Defeated by a team of level 65s. And that'll do it for Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. 13 months, over 100 videos, and I want to say that this LP is at least 30 hours long video time, 60 hours long game-wise. Needless to say, I've put a lot of time and effort into this Let's Play, a lot more than I honestly expected to, including all of the extra effort with the backgrounds and whatnot that I wasn't sure was worth the extra time, but I'm really happy with how it turned out overall. And I do at least want to dedicate one video after this to showing how I made those, because I've gotten a couple of questions about that, but overall, I love Heart Gold and Soul Silver to death, mainly because of how much I love the 2nd generation games and the art style of the 4th generation. So I've dedicated quite a bit of work to it, even though there are a number of people, myself included, who don't really see the entertainment value in Pokemon games. But hopefully I was able to at least give you some kind of entertainment out of it, and if you did find something you really enjoyed about how I did this Let's Play, or it's something that you think could have been improved on, please let me know, because I get next to no feedback, and if I don't hear from you guys, I don't know what I'm doing right or wrong. So I really appreciate any kind of feedback you have for me, positive or negative. That said, it's about time we actually moved on to something that isn't Pokemon, and if you just joined the channel, you may think that I do pretty much exclusively Pokemon stuff, despite the fact that this is the first Pokemon Let's Play I've done, period. I do have something new on the rise, and the only hint I'm going to give about it is that I've never played it before. Although I think I may need another week or so to get everything set up for that, so if you don't see any videos from me next week in terms of main LPs, you know why. But with how much time and effort I put into this Let's Play, considering I'm not sure just how entertaining Pokemon games are to watch, I just want that to stand as a testament to just how much Pokemon has won my love again after abandoning it for 10 plus years or so. And I hope that those of you that like Pokemon, or even those of you that don't, just got something out of this Let's Play in terms of entertainment. Because I know how difficult it is to be entertaining for these sorts of games, and hopefully I did a good job of that. If I didn't, let me know. If I did, let me know. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play as much as I enjoyed making it for you. This is UniversalGiant. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope you'll join me next time. See you later, guys.